Hello, everybody. Welcome to the BariConnected podcast and our May support group with our amazing guest, Rob DiMedio, and talking about optimizing movement after bariatric surgery. So we want to welcome you, each and every one of you. Please let us know where you're from, a little bit about yourself if you're attending the live. If you're listening to the replay, sit back and at some point and just take all this information in. So at this, I want to kind of just do a little brief introduction of Rob, and then I'm going to turn it over to him. So I've kind of gotten to know Rob over the last few years, and it's been such a pleasure. Just always have a good time whenever I'm around you, Rob.
We're always dancing and just positive. And I swear when you have positive people around, it just brings such a fun vibe. So I'm excited to spend my Thursday with you.
We just have a good time. Rob is he's a dad, he's a teacher, and he is an esteemed personal trainer who has dedicated himself to really just kind of helping others, especially after this bariatric journey that we're all on. He has been voted the best men's fitness and best men's account on the through the Just Be You Awards. That was these last couple years, and has really just kind of started settling into his business. Side hustle, Busy Bariatrics, where he is a trainer and kind of teaches people a little bit more about movement. And he's offering a summer camp, which we'll be talking more about. And I also want to kind of give a shout out here in the very beginning to our sponsor, which is ProCare Health. So we thank ProCare Health for bringing us all together and welcome each and every one of you. I see lots of people commenting.
And I got the last bag of calcium chocolate, so I feel like I'm the lucky one.
Yeah, so our calcium dark chocolate that Rob just held up is a patient favorite, and it is a ProCare product that is seasonal. So it just went out the beginning of May, and Rob got the last bag.
It is the last bag. I should have had you sign it as the official one. And I made the wall with ProCare, right?
Yes. So ProCare office is out of taking my jacket off, is out of St. Peters, Missouri. And they redesigned, they moved offices, and they're redesigning the entire office, and they wanted to do a really fun theme. So I sent Rob a picture. One of the walls has a big picture of me and him standing on the wall.
I think it's just so that it keeps the mice away at night. You know, they see that big giant me like excited, and it's like, it's
Ooh,
like the best
scary.
throw ever. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, Rob, I want you to tell us a little bit about you, about your journey, because Rob also had bariatric surgery. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, 4 years post-op coming on post Father's Day. So Brenda, thanks for having me on. Of course, thanks to ProCare for setting up a little bit of time where we can kind of talk, discuss, and do everything. I think we're coming into our favorite season, or at least mine as a teacher, which is summer. And not because I want to get away from the kids. It's actually because the days are longer. Produce in New Jersey is phenomenal. It's just a great time of year. So just like you said, I'm a husband, father, certified personal trainer, certified nutrition coach. And I am the winner of the Just Be You Bariatric Awards Best Men Fitness, Best Men's Account, Best Men's Body Positivity. There's a men in front of it. I think I have a trophy from Kelly and Mel somewhere in the basement for it. And they've been awesome as well. This has led me to follow my passion of helping other bariatric patients after helping in support groups like this one, listening to stories, and realizing that most online personal trainers may not know what bariatric surgery is, nor know the struggles or the needs that bariatric patients need to help optimize their movement. So this is kind of a passion project for me, but it allows me to do everything while still showing up for my wife, my kids, keeping my day job. And then by night, after I finish the car shuttle, I'm helping clients just like the ones that are signed on today, help optimize their bariatric journeys. So I'm excited to be here.
And I think just bringing that passion forward for me, I was telling Rob, we were talking about it a little bit before the call. For me, fitness has been one of those things that's kind of been in and out throughout my journey. I mean, I'm 12 years post-op BSG, and I'm going to be honest, like sometimes I was all in and sometimes I was all out. So it had been probably like consistency wise, I hadn't been real consistent. And I did start with a personal trainer about 2 months ago, and it's been so helpful. Like, I have to look at some of my numbers. I just did some of my numbers, but like my body fat went down, my muscle mass, I gained several pounds in muscle mass, lost about 5 or 6 extra pounds. So it's been really helpful. And some of the biggest things is just my activities of daily living. Like, holy cow, like I can actually feel more energized after some of the activities. Like the other day, I had probably a 14-hour day of just being a weekend warrior. And I was able to do it all. And I was like, wow, like I haven't done that much in one day in a long time. But I think it was because I was able to because of building up endurance.
Yeah, and I think it's just such an awesome thing. And I will tell you, Brenda has not gotten bulky from lifting weights. If anything, it's helped get that physique that we all kind of shoot for. It's really hard to get bulky, but it is really important. And it's one of those. I'm 4 years post-op, like I said. One of the things that I really do is I still work with an online fitness coach. I have a commercial coming up. I am having a photo shoot this summer. So having an extra level of accountability or just having someone who is looking at the 30,000-foot view of your fitness journey plays such an important role. I think a lot of the times bariatric patients, we get lost in the sauce of because it's us, we might cut corners somewhere or not realize what's going on in others. And it really does help give you the idea of having someone else just objectively look at your data, see what's going on, and see how you can improve. And that's kind of what I try to help all my patients do. So it's awesome that you're working with the trainer. It's obviously a great benefit, and it's just the a level of energy that you have from it is probably my favorite part.
And having somebody help you, Rob, some of the biggest things I've noticed besides just the accountability is probably number one for me, like
Yes.
getting me there.
Hmm.
Number two is probably pushing me to do things I would have never done, like box jumps or boxing or like those crazy things like I would have never done on my own just because it was scary to me, or not even done as much weight as I would have thought I could have done because you think you pick up something and you're like, oh, that's too heavy. And you put it back
Yeah, it's fun.
down.
And even for me with my coach, it's one of those benefits of it's weird. The things that I don't necessarily like programming for myself because I don't like them seems to get on when my trainer gets, but that's what really gets us our results. So a lot of the times it really does help because it breaks us out of our comfort zone. It really allows us to focus on objectively what's going to get us to improve. And it allows us to just overall improve and enjoy our life after bariatric surgery. And one of the ways we can optimize and enjoy bariatric surgery is by celebrating the fact that our bodies can move differently. And for a lot of people, a lot better than they used to.
You're so right. So we have a lot of people that have joined and are all different places in their surgery, their bariatric
I
surgery.
see. Across
Uh,
across the country and all stages and ranges. So
yes.
why don't I talk a little bit about, how to optimize movement right after bariatric surgery? We'll take a couple questions. If you want, if you're in the chat live, I want to celebrate the fact that you're here. If you could just share one way you move your body after bariatric surgery. I'll go first to give the example. It's the teacher in me. So prior to bariatric surgery, I would not go for walks longer than to the Wawa, which is our local gas station to get fast food. After bariatric surgery, I started to move and go for walks up to 3 to 4 miles. I would go swimming. I see swimming's coming in, so Debbie understands the assignment. Let's see who else is moving. Belly dancing. I love it. Moving our body as we want. Walking, guard. See, we just got to get the snowball rolling, Brenda. This is great. Post-op 5 weeks. So 5 weeks out, it's so important. Start getting those steps in, and that's all you need. I see that infinity hoop on the TikTok, and that seems to be a popular one. I love it. People are running. This is great. Strength training for the first time in your life. I love that. And that's one of the best things we can do for ourselves is work on resistance training because muscle gives you this great flywheel to get everything together. Walking is awesome. Circuit training for our cardio. Looking at all this, limited resources, you can always just go for a walk. See if there's a Planet Fitness, and if possible, a lot of them have $10 memberships. That's where I go because I'm cheap and unpractical. So I totally get that. Let's see, started collecting free library cards, hooked on audiobooks to get your movings running. See, this is great. Bike riding, treadmilling. So yeah, everyone understands that moving your body after bariatric surgery is so, so important. And the best advice I can give you is I want you to think of movement after bariatric surgery almost like your portfolio for when you retire. If you're like me after bariatric surgery, it's the same as when my financial advisor said, do you have a plan for retirement? I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was part of what I had to do as an adult. And he explained you kind of want a mix of different things to get you the best results. Same thing is true for your bariatric journey. So for all of you who said, I love to run, I love to jog, I like to walk, that would be an example of doing a great form of cardiovascular exercise, or cardio for short. So what I would recommend is for those of you who really love those movements, you want to compensate your portfolio by adding something in like resistance training for the opposite days, and then adding a little bit of recovery with yoga or stretching for your seventh day. For those of you that I see are going like, I'm strength training for the first time, I'm building muscle, I'm getting lean. If that's the way you love moving your body, the best thing to do then is you're going to compensate the other 3 days a week with cardio and then take a day for mobility, rest, or recovery. So by having that diverse group, you're both working on your respiratory benefits of cardio while still getting strength and muscle building to coming in. And it's going to allow you to feel fitter, move better, have less huffing and puffing when you go around and doing everything. I love people are even sharing like just getting stairs at work is such an easy way to get it. I record these in my basement, so it's one of those that I'm constantly going upstairs to check on my kids or talk to my wife, and it gets me an extra flight every time I go. But moving your body is really important after bariatric surgery. The science behind it is really, really simple. Moving your body after bariatric surgery essentially ensures that you are building the habits and behaviors for long-term success. A lot of ways that works is by building muscle, you're going to increase your metabolism. Why is that important? Well, the better your metabolism burns or works, the more you're able to take food and convert it into energy. And that's going to be a major, major part because it's also going to allow you to eat some more to sustain your bariatric journey and help you with muscle building. The other part
Hey,
is that,
Rob,
yes.
sorry to interrupt you, but were you sharing your screen?
Oh, no, not at all. Was I supposed to?
I just thought you said that you were going to share your screen. So I
Oh,
was just making sure that you weren't like meaning to, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. You don't have to share it, but if that's what you were wanting to do, you're welcome to. I just wanted,
no. This
I
is
just
why I
didn't
love
see
working
it.
with Brenda. I just get so excited talking to everyone, and Brenda reminds me, hey, hit the button. And it's a really good play. So I love it. So now you're all seeing what I'm seeing and going through what I'm going through. I'm pulling the chat back up. So this is great. This is great. So essentially, like what we talked about is you want to take a moment of gratitude and just think of how has your body moved differently now that you've had bariatric surgery. And it's such an important part. And it makes me so happy seeing all of you sharing these things. Like the chat is going nuts, Brendan. This is awesome. Can I get a copy of that email to me? Yes. If you message me at my weight is history, or I will drop the link for you to get it right after for everything. And Brenda, we can get that out to people, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If I tell you what, Rob, instead of you having to get a bunch of emails, I will, how about in one, like I will send it out, I'll send it out tomorrow to the people who've registered so far. And if anybody else wants that, we will have, I'll put Rob's email if you don't get it within a, if you don't, by chance, if you haven't gotten it tomorrow, and or if you're listening to the replay and you want it, you can email Rob specifically.
Yeah, sounds perfect. And I'll give you the links for everything right after this. So plenty of ways to get it, and we'll keep going. So one of the first things we really want to do is for a lot of us, especially after bariatric surgery, and me personally, when I weighed 365 pounds, I wasn't necessarily motivated to move my body or to incorporate movement into a lifetime thing. So it was one of those things that I really had to get started, and that can be really tough and tricky for times. And some of the top tools that you need for crushing it at the gym is first, really getting into the right mindset. I think a lot of the times when we look on social media or we're discussing things, we have this idea that movement has to be this big complex thing, that we need these incredibly crazy Instagram workouts that do everything. And for a lot of us, it's just getting in the mindset of, I'm going to go into the gym, I'm going to move my body, and I'm getting everything together. And that's going to play a really, really big part. The other thing that I think is really important is working with a Google Calendar. I joke and I teach all my clients, the more that you hold your time sacred and that you have scheduled time to move your body, the more it allows to get accomplished. Like I said in the beginning, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a teacher, I run a business by night. Every now and then I sleep too. It seems to be a little bit less and less each day, even though I know I need my 7. But I realized by looking at my calendar, if I really wanted to move my body and get intentional with my results, I was really going to have to work out at 5 a.m. till 6:30 in the morning, because that was the only white part of my calendar left, the blank spaces that something wasn't consuming. So by getting intentional with your time and holding space with it, it's going to allow you to say, this is my gym time. I also really appreciate it because a lot of times, like for today, I had a couple opportunities to meet with potential clients or to schedule some other things. And it's real simple for me to go into my Google Calendar and say, hey, I'm meeting with Brenda today and I'm doing something for ProCare. I can't do it now, but let me see the next available time I have and moving it on. So it's not just holding time for the gym, but understanding that by allowing people to not know, just know for now, it allows for relationships to build, things to strengthen, and the mindset to get everything else in. And that's a really big deal. Um, so we have that to go for. The final one is an alarm. A lot of the times we just need to set a break or have a hard stop. I help my clients that go after the gym that their alarm goes off 15 minutes before the end of their workday. And that's really just to remind them of, okay, it's time to shut down and put a bow on everything. Just like we say, not now for our family members or other outside commitments to get our movement in, sometimes we have to tell our work relationships that as much as I love the work that I'm doing for you, I really need to take some time for myself so I can come back the next day and be that much fresher or stronger for everything. So getting that mindset right plays such a big role. I'm going to ask the group, if you have a quick second, which one of these do you need the most support with right off the bat? Is it getting the mindset right that you're going to make movement a priority? Is it going to be scheduling the time to get it? Or is it just keeping that healthy boundary? Share right in there what the biggest struggle is. Right, mindset, scheduling time. Wow, mindset a lot, and I get that. Scheduling and mindset, 50-50. First initial going, yeah. The first one's really tough. So it looks like a lot of people are saying a little bit of both. So let me give an actionable way that we can handle each one. For the mindset, you really need to kind of start backwards and start with your calendar of when are you holding space to go to the gym. Just like Brenda's working with a personal trainer, I'm sure Brenda is paying that person money. There is going to be a psychological twinge for Brenda of, I'm not really going to miss this appointment if I'm spending X amount of money on it. The same should be true for your time. If you're holding time or getting a babysitter for your kids, or you're waking up at 4 a.m., you're more inclined to work on it because you're holding time, your most valuable possession, and you're holding it for that. So working on that. For the mindset, I think for a lot of us, we really do have to work on how do we develop the idea that we are a gym goer. And I think a part of that is by identifying what do we want our life to look like 7 years after bariatric surgery. So for a lot of my clients, I tell them to write a letter to themselves in the future, or for future 7-year-old self, to write a letter back of, this is what my day looks like now that I am 7 years post-op from bariatric surgery. And it's always so inspiring. My clients tell me that they're moving their bodies, they have a good relationship with food, they're getting everything together. And that's really when you realize, like, okay, if that's what you want your life to look like 7 years from now, we need to start now. And it's small, basic habits of, you don't have to go to the gym and bench press a small car the first time that you go in. You really just have to get into the gym. So for a lot of clients, when we talk about mindset, I've realized that they're either in the pre-contemplation or contemplation stage of movement, meaning you're either saying, I want to go to the gym, or I know I should go to the gym and I haven't even given it a second thought. So for a lot of people, it's just that part of saying, hey, I'm going to take a little bit of time to work on the headspace of getting everything together. I'm going to start to pack my bag for the gym. I'm going to start to set my alarm a little bit earlier. And by doing that, it allows for everything. With healthy boundaries, I feel like one of the best ways that we can benefit from that is making it very clear to our loved ones, our families, and our friends is that just because it's not now does not mean it's not forever. And what that means, especially in your first year of your bariatric journey, it really is important to prioritize yourself, your health, and your fitness so that you ensure long-term results. So when family members say, like, why are you going to the gym maybe at 3 o'clock in the afternoon as opposed to going to a barbecue, or why are you getting up so early and you have to leave a party earlier than you might want to? You say, because I really want to make this last and I'm trying to build a lifestyle that I can be proud of. For me, with my children and everything I have to set an example to show that moving my body and prioritizing that is the way I want my kids to be raised and how I want to live, so I can show up not just for them, but hopefully their kids and, maybe great grandkids. I have a grandparent who, my grandmom's still alive. She can still get herself up off the floor in a full yoga pose at 92 years old. And that's kind of the goal. We want to be able to move and have these absolute great years. So doing it. So now that we get started, we kind of have to talk about the issue everyone wants. How should we dress for the gym? And I always tell clients that you need to dress yourself before you wreck yourself. And if you know 90s hip hop rap, you may find that funny, or the joke will fly over your head. And I assume because we're recording, you're all laughing in the background. But the main point is you really want to dress for whatever goal you have. Just like I'm kind of in a shirt that shows my Busy Bariatrics logo because I'm promoting Busy Bariatrics and I'm here with ProCare, and Brenda has behind her, she's dressed as a professional and she has all her ProCare logos behind her in the BariConnected podcast. You want to look the part to be a gym goer. So you really have to look at what is your goal in the gym and what do you want to do? And it really comes down to what you would have for strength, cardio, or recovery. So when we look at that, for strength, we want clothes that are going to be relatively loose so that we can move our body and push the weight however we need to. For cardio, it might help to wear something a little bit tighter or form-fitting so it's not flapping around while you're running. Especially for people who used to be 365 pounds like me, I have loose skin. So when I do cardio, I want something almost compression layered so that everything kind of stays in place and that's not distracting me while I'm working. When I'm doing something like yoga, it helps to have clothes that are kind of tight so that when I get into my downward dog, my shirt doesn't fly over my head and I'm stuck not looking there. And when it comes down to that, it also comes to shoes. So when you're doing lifting in the gym, you kind of want a flat shoe. Think of your Converse or your Vans so that your feet are closest and grounded to the floor for your heavy lifts. When it comes to cardio, you want a shoe that is a running shoe that'll help you move and pivot and give you the ankle support you need. When you're doing recovery like yoga and stretching, if you're doing it at home or in a yoga studio, being barefoot's probably going to be the best place. So I want to hear from all of you because I'm talking so much. What is your favorite go-to item for the gym? Share it in the chat. I can't wait to see. I see some people got the 90s joke, so I'm happy. I see compression training, compression clothing, arc trainer and weights. Awesome. Hokas for running. I love that. Compression clothing. Good sports bra. So important. Bike shorts so that we have our compression going. Love the compression answers. I think after bariatric surgery, it's so important that we feel confident in what we wear. And it just gives us a better layer. So I love that. Oversized shirt. I love that. 40-ounce cup. Get your hydration in. I'll take a sip. Earphones, I love it. Tank and compressor, water bottle and good shoes. Love this. Gang, I'm also going to talk non-stop. So whatever questions you have, throw it in. I saw one when it came to, I won't share names, we'll just go through with process of getting diagnosed with POTS. So figuring out what workouts I can do, modify so I don't cause a flare-up. Those are really important questions to ask whoever is your diagnosing doctor. Just because I don't know the full scope of who would be, if it's your primary care physician or a specialist, but almost every surgeon or doctor can tell you what movement will help you and what movement might hurt you after surgery. So, for an example, the same person who did my bariatric surgery was the same person who did my hernia 2 years later. He knows me well enough to know that I want to go lift heavy weights the day after I do a hernia. He was very clear of that is something you cannot do because you will rip open the stitching. So that's where I go, Doc. I really want to get back to lifting. What does my plan have to look like for gentle movement, for limited dumbbell and resistance band training, for yoga, and then for heavy lifting? So going to your primary care physician or whatever doctor is your diagnosing doctor and asking them, when can I start walking? When can I start doing gentle movement like yoga? When can I do dumbbell lightweight training? And when can I do heavy lifting? Are 4 questions that I would ask for a clear progression for. And I think any doctor would be more than happy to help you with that. So let's see. So many good gears. I see a question. I have an ankle injury, so I'm limited. One thing I work with clients who have either injuries or anything else is incorporating yoga. It's a really awesome way to help with your mobility and with your recovery, and it can be gentler on different parts. I highly recommend DDPY, Diamond Dallas Page Yoga, which was built for rehabbing WWF wrestlers, so people who get banged up and thrown around a lot. Or it was also for people who were dealing with obesity for gentle movement. Also, I always say push it where it doesn't hurt. So if you have an ankle injury, this might be the best time ever to start resistance training on your upper body and backs and biceps so that you can get the full rest of your body moving while the ankles hurt. For an example, when I had calcium deposits in my shoulder, I could not raise my left shoulder higher than this for a month. And that was back in December. So we really worked on just doing leg focused movements, walking and cardio. So look at it this way. If you have one sort of injury, find a way to work around it and work with your primary care physician so that you get back in the healthiest way possible. So next question is, a lot of people get nervous of how do I select a gym? How do I know a gym is right for me? And there's a lot of different factors that go into place when you're selecting a gym. I'm going to go through a couple, and it is not necessarily in order. It's just the order I threw it in. For me, price plays a factor. If I can't afford the gym, I may have anxiety about going. So finding one that's in my proper price range plays a really big role. Gym memberships can be anywhere from Planet Fitness has a $10 or $19 membership. And that's a great entryway level. I work out 4 days a week in at Planet Fitness. So I think you can get a really great workout there for a very affordable place. They're not paying me to say this either, people. It's, I wish I got more money from people for what I praise. Location plays a part. My gym is only 4 blocks away from my house. So it kind of eliminates the excuse of there's traffic or there's issues there. So that allows for something. If your gym is 40 minutes away because you think it's a nice gym, you may not be inclined to go there at 5 o'clock in the morning because that might mean you have to leave your house at 4:20 a.m., which might mean you have to wake up at 3:45. So location plays a part. Hours of operation are important. If you do shift work and you can only get to the gym at 1 o'clock in the morning after your shift, if the gym's not open, it really doesn't serve you a purpose. So just double checking the hours of operation plays a big, big role. I love the gym right down the street. I actually pass a gym to get to my gym. If that gym was open at 5 a.m., I would go to that gym. But unfortunately, it isn't. So I go to Planet Fitness. The facilities also play a big role. So for an example, if you are looking to get into CrossFit, you want to find a gym that is CrossFit specific. If you are looking to get into muscle building, strength building, you might want a gym that's built more for bodybuilding. If you're just looking for general overall fitness, that might be any gym that fits those criteria. So making sure that you do a tour of the gym and seeing if how it likes. One thing that Planet Fitness doesn't have that I really wish it did is a sauna. If I was going to join another gym, I'd probably want to make sure that it had a sauna because I like that part. The other part is you really want to check for cleanliness. This plays such a major, major role, especially where people are sweating and dripping and grunting and heaving. You want to make sure that the equipment is clean, that there isn't any rust, and that the machines are in relatively good condition. Again, is there going to be broken machines in every single gym? Yes, because machines break down. Are a lot of machines broken down, and how quickly do they repair them? All plays a big, big role. So there we go. Some people wish they had a pool. Yeah. So that's a great example of, if you know you want to incorporate swimming in the wintertime, finding a gym with an indoor pool is really important. There's a gym a couple miles away from me that does have an indoor pool. And if that was important to me, that would probably be where I would join, as opposed to another big box gym that doesn't have that. So making sure it has the features or amenities that you want play the biggest role. For me, the most important is the location and hours of operation, because I need to get there quick and I need to get home, get showered and changed, and get to work quick. So for me, that was the top two, and that's how I decided on my gym. Okay, so how do we build an exercise schedule? So your schedule should be built around the sustainability and attainability of your goals. A lot of the times when we build our goals, we want to make sure that we have everything set and that we're good to go. So for an example, if you want to become a top CrossFitter, you should probably be doing CrossFit exercises at a CrossFit gym. And that might have to look at how many times a week you need to get into shape to do that. Might be upwards of 3 to 4 a week. You also should look at the availability of your schedule. If you are trying to commit for a marathon, but you can only run 1 day a week, that might not be the best goal for you. You have to really get clear and honest of how many days and how many hours it's going to take to commit for those goals, and then really work to answer that. Finally, is a life balance. As much as I'd like to tell you that I would spend all day in the gym, which in an ideal world I might, I have to really show up and work my day job. I have to get my kids out the door. I have to put food on the table. I have to find a life balance. And if I'm not present for my wife and kids and my friends as well, what sort of life is that? So making sure that you have a balance of things. For me, we're coming up to Memorial Day while we're recording this. So the idea of just even getting to a barbecue at 4 o'clock might mean that I go to the gym at 7 and then still show up and take my kids to the pool for an hour or two before I show up at the barbecue. Finally, it has to go for progression and adaptation. So as you get better and as you work out more, you're going to have to work out harder and stronger to continue to develop your results. So finding a plan that gives you enough time to do all these things plays a really big role. So take a minute. I want to see who's still paying attention. Let's fire up the chat again. What time of day is best for you to go to the gym? Morning, middle of the day, afternoon, evening? I have a client who, look at it. Wow, morning is firing up. I see some evenings. Love this. Brenda, I have to tell you, you always have the best groups in here. They come in, they share. Love it.
We do
Early
have great
morning.
groups.
You do so well. I love it. A lot of early mornings, the middle of the work. I love this answer. It changes according to work and pageant schedules. As a dance dad myself, I will tell you, my schedule does have to rotate around my kids' activities. But again, that's why I like a gym like Planet Fitness, where if we're on the road 4 hours away, there's usually a Planet Fitness with a shower that I can hop in while they're doing a 2 hour break, and I'll go get a workout in. Love
I
this.
always feel like if I work out in the morning, it's like I didn't even work out because I'll be home before anybody gets up. So it's like I would have just been playing on my phone or doing something anyways, you know?
Love that, Brenda. I'm the same way. I feel like then I come into my house and I am like the trumpeter. I'm already all amped up and running around, and I'm waking up my kids, and it's great. Big thing that I see people struggle with. I hear I want to do mornings, but need to start waking up early. And this is a great example of working the long game. If you want to be a 5 a.m. lifter, I would say take 6 months and just start waking up at 5 a.m. Don't even worry about going to the gym. So for an example, here's how I would tell you to ramp it up. If you're normally waking up at 6:30, take the next 2 weeks and just wake up at 6:15 and commit that you're going to put your feet on the ground at 6:15. Even if you just give a nice big stretch and move your body and your arms, you'll eventually get used to your body waking up at 6:15, and you'll naturally wake up at 6:15. Once that develops in, wake up at 6 a.m. Do the same routine, play the long game. I think a lot of the times in our bariatric journeys, we really, really struggle with this idea of, I have to do all the things all at once every single day. It took me 6 months of waking up at 5 a.m. before I even got a gym or a workout in because it was torture to get up. And now I'm in bed by 9 because my body tells me go to bed early so I can wake up early. Love this.
You kind of
Going,
got a good point there, Rob. That's one thing I noticed. I noticed since I've been getting up earlier because I have to get up, 5 also. And definitely it makes me want to go to bed earlier so that because all I'm doing usually in the evenings is watching a movie or something anyway. So it's not like I'm missing out on anything.
absolutely. I tell my clients nothing good ever happens after 9 p.m. I feel like after 9 p.m., that's when, if we're tracking our food or our intake, that's when the popcorn, the chips seem to make its head come out, the cookies. I'm usually just on my phone. I try to set that with working with clients at night. I will take clients anywhere from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m. at night. Then I really shut the computer off and say I'm done my work for the day. And I'll go up and I'll watch a half hour of television with my wife and kids. If you're wondering, we're really deep into Abbott Elementary, and it's a good family show. Or me and my wife will watch Curb Your Enthusiasm for the 15th time. But then I take that half an hour to decompress and then I go to bed. So building those habits in plays such a good role. And I love seeing all this.
There's a comment too, which made me think, Rob, what is your thinking about this? I love this because I feel like if somebody's working 12-hour shifts, Kim says I'm working 12-hour shifts with 2-hour commute. So that's a long day. She
Mhm.
says I do stairs at work, then work out morning to middays at home. I feel like sometimes you just have to be like work with your schedule. There's nothing, what would you say about working out like maybe 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch, and 10 minutes in the evening? Like if that's what you can do.
I think it's a great question. And it's one of those that when I work with nurses or EMTs or police and firefighters who have to work 12-hour shifts, usually what I say then is that might not be the day to work out. So, one of those things that I talk about is optimizing your calendar. If you do 12-hour shifts, maybe 3 days a week, I would take the other 3 days a week to maybe make those your lifting days. And then on the days that you do shift work, you're doing an awesome job. You're getting the stairs. You'll work out morning or middays at home. So maybe you get an extra little bit of rest and recovery after doing a 14-hour day. Sleep 8 hours, wake up, maybe get the kids or your family in order, and then go to the gym. So it's working around your schedule and finding results that happen. And I think working into your schedule really helps you do that. All right. So looking at it, the next question we always get, Brenda, is how do we build consistency? And when it comes to consistency, it really comes to how are you making sustainable routines, realistic goals, and finding joy in what you're doing. If you don't like your workouts, you're probably not going to go for it, which is why I say in the beginning, if you like belly dancing or if you like yoga or Pilates, absolutely do that 3 days a week. Then sprinkle in on the other days the work you might not want to do because it will make you a better yogi, belly dancer, or Pilates person. I don't know the term for a pilateer, maybe. I don't know. But the point is, take what you like and take the opposite days to do the work that will make you better. So in that case, it's resistance training. For me, I love lifting in the gym, which means I have to sprinkle in cardio on my off days so that we get the benefits of what we do. So take a moment right now and ask yourself, and if you want to share it in the chat, you're welcome to. What role do you want movement to play in your bariatric journey? Then ask yourself, how can you make it attainable and how can you make it sustainable?
Rob, I was listening to it was a program, I guess you might say, on on kind of like how you want your life to look. It was something
Yeah.
called Life Book, which is out of Mind Valley. It's a I don't know, a personal development program.
Yeah.
And they were talking about character traits that you build into your everyday. And one of the most important character traits, and I had never thought about this, is discipline. Like if you think about discipline, if you are disciplined in your life, that's when you see results. And it
Mhm.
doesn't matter if it's just physical activity, it's every area of your life. You know, like if you're building in physical activity, if you want physical activity, you're building it in. If you want your finances to look a certain way, you're building discipline in. You know, you're not just spending money every which way. If your career, if you're wanting to have a certain career, you're building in things you need to do. So I thought that was really interesting. You know, like when you're building your character traits, discipline is important.
So much more important than motivation. And Brenda, I love that. What I teach my clients is discipline gives us the freedom to do the things that we want. The discipline for me of getting up every day and lifting at 5 a.m. means I don't have to do it in the afternoon, which means I have the freedom to show up to my girls' field hockey games, take them to their dance classes, and cook dinner. The freedom that, or the discipline that I learned over my budget helped me go from having over $157,000 in debt to now I'm down to my last 36. So it's one of those things that I truly, truly believe in any aspect of your life. You really have to look at what are you willing to sacrifice or what are you willing to change to get the changes that you want. And I think for any self reflection or self help or support, especially after bariatric journey on our bariatric journeys, we get a chance to rewrite the book. We can completely change who we are after bariatric surgery, how we move, how we spend, how we feel, how we show up for others. So taking that time to really journal out and write out what do you want to be so that you can get the results that you want. When I was working with my coach right now, Eric Bach, who does a phenomenal job, I got an opportunity to shoot a commercial and a photo shoot, and I was told we want to do it in the summer, and this was back on Thanksgiving. So when I messaged Eric and I started to talk and work with him, he wanted to get very clear of if you want to be a physique men's health cover shoot person, because he works with men's health cover models, he works with NFL players, and then me. I'm like the weird client in his group, but he says you need to adapt the lifestyle. So it's if you want to have the lifestyle of a high energy bariatric patient, what does a high energy bariatric patient do? Well, Brenda, I know from you interviewing so many people and me interviewing so many people, there's some common habits, patterns, and behaviors that kind of show up. And a lot of them is they have an understanding of their relationship with food and how to benefit from it. They build habits into their lifestyle that ensure their success. They stay active and they commit to movement. They put themselves first so that they can allow full change to happen. So small things like that can really get a snowball going that can get a really good effect. So we're at 15 minutes, and I know we want to put some Q&As that we got in, when to push and when to rest. Really, you have to ask yourself, if it isn't challenging you, it's not going to change you. So that's where I try to explain to people, you want to lift a little heavier each time you lift. You want to run a little bit faster, or you want to, hold a more challenging pose if you're doing mobility. But Brenda, I know we're close to time. Do we want to just dive in and do some questions that we got from the poll?
Sure, absolutely. We can definitely do that. And also, I want to thank everybody when they were registering. We had a whole load of questions that came in, and we're going to definitely take questions from all of you guys right now. But if there's something that's happened foremost, we'll definitely try to hit as many of those as we can. But Rob did look at all of your questions that you sent in ahead of time from registration.
So we answered a couple of them through the presentation, but I'm going to fire them through. I will give a little bit of priority to the live people who are in front of us. So fire them into the chat. And while we're going, I'm just going to answer some common questions that come through. Is there any website or app that have exercises for bariatric or bigger people? There's a couple different ways you can go with it. Like I said, DDP Yoga, is built for people who are recovering from injuries or for people who used to be obese. That was where I personally started and had great results after bariatric surgery. I'd really say you want to try to find a trainer that understands the bariatric journey. Some really good ones that I would recommend off the top of my head. The bariatric trainer, Jenna, has been doing it for over a decade, and I'm always inspired by her. Her workouts on Instagram really show actionable items. I know, Brenda, take a pen and paper. You want to
I
have
know, I'm writing it down so I can look these
so good.
people up.
Please tell her I rave about her too.
It's
But she
what is
has
your name again? Bariatric.
the bariatric trainer.
Okay.
So She does a lot of like early starting out stuff. Shameless plug for me. I have multiple programs for early post-op as well as breakdown gym intimidation programs. Looking through what's the best leg exercise to combat the bariatric thighs. So there's a couple things that are going on. There, you can't necessarily spot train for where fat is on your body. The best way to drop fat is always going to be to stay in your caloric deficit. And my advice that I give people for getting into a caloric deficit is to track your food intake, see where you're at, and work with a professional registered dietitian or personal trainer or nutrition coach to help you build out a plan that will generate your caloric deficit. When it comes to like bariatric thighs or body parts that we want to build or have loose skin, one thing that I always suggest is if you build muscle by strengthening the muscles in that area, the muscles will grow bigger. It will also help put the body and the skin to look tighter, so it will get a better result. So for an example, I have the nice bat wing that I'm shaking on the screen, but if I flex it and pose it, because I have muscle there, it looks nice and tight and the loose skin goes away. Just another reason why I recommend resistance training for everyone. And that works on my midsection as well. I still have loose skin and that'll have something that happens. Can we find her on YouTube? I'm not sure, but bariatric trainer Jenna. I know if you look in bariatric trainer, she comes up. And Jenna is really, really good. Her sister's actually a registered dietitian as well. So Brenda, have them both on. Dietitian,
Yeah.
and they both work together in tandem, and it's great. Does your stomach ever go back? Yes and no, Thomas. So for me, I still have a lot of loose skin around my stomach while I'm working with my physique trainer, though, and what I help my clients do by building and developing our abdominal muscles and our core muscles, same thing. As the muscles get bigger, it will give more of a look like I have a six pack and physique. But the loose skin is kind of there, and the only way to eliminate loose skin is really by plastic surgery at that point. So bariatric thigh meaning stressed out, I believe so. And thank you, Nicole. I work hard for those bad boys. Let's go through some other questions we have. Is walking good enough at first? I love that question because it absolutely is. I lost over 100 pounds just by keeping a step goal consistently, nothing else. You can go look back in my Instagram. I went 435 days in a row of 15,000 steps a day, and I got down to my lowest weight of 210 pounds. So really good. Working out without becoming bulky. I promise you, I've worked really hard. I even worked with Kim Tirapelli, who's a friend of the podcast, to bulk and put on 250 pounds. I grew muscle, and then as I kind of cut down, it's kind of gotten the physique that I have now. Let's keep going. I'm going to rapid fire these just because we get it. And yes, Jim's an OG, and Jim helped me with so much of my nutrition back in the day. My step goal was such a big part of my journey. When will I feel back to normal? I guess it really depends on what you want normal to look like and what you want normal to be. For me, normal was I was drinking every day. I was eating fast food twice, sometimes three times a day. I was constantly tired and achy. So for me, my normal prior to bariatric surgery was a place I never wanted to go back to. After bariatric surgery, I'd say in the first year, you're really in a honeymoon stage, and it's almost like a baby deer walking, like you stumble a lot, but the more you do the reps and work at bariatric surgery, you'll be good. Healing, how long does it take? It really depends on the surgery, the procedure, and what your bariatric surgical team gives you. But going through those questions really do help of here is how long we go and get everything. Yep. See, people are already loving Jenna on Instagram. She's so good. Let's see what else we have. How long it takes. What's the best physical activity to start once I get home after surgery? Just walking. How long out? I am 4 years post-op. How many calories should a 2-year post-op be consuming? That depends on a lot of things between height, weight, age, your activity level, and everything else. If you want a free metabolic assessment, you can message me on Instagram and I will help you get one of those set up to help you figure out the baseline of that and go from there. Weight training to help with firm areas with loose skin. Just like we said, resistance training will work perfect. Same with toning. What is the optimal caloric intake after surgery and the post-op diet? Again, It's really tough to say because the optimal caloric intake for Brenda would be vastly different than the optimal caloric intake for me. But again, working with a professional can really do wonders for that. Beginning to work out techniques to gain momentum. Again, start on your habits, patterns, and behaviors and go through and keep going and building and developing from there. I need exercise ideas for chronic pain that's not related to weight. That would absolutely be the DDPY yoga, but also work with the healthcare provider who is managing your pain to see what they recommend. Physical activity, because I am in a wheelchair, you can still get some awesome upper body workouts, and working with a specific trainer for someone who knows how to handle those can get you the things that you need. If I start weight training, do I need to alter my diet? Yes and no. It really depends more on what you're doing and how to do it. And again, I feel bad, but Brenda, a lot of these answers or questions, it really comes down to a conversation. Please know that I offer a free 30-minute consultation of how to optimize your bariatric journey just by messaging me optimize or I heard you or ProCare, and I'll be happy to help set you up. Can you outline a beginner strength program to do at home? My limitation, I have arthritis in my wrists. I would work with resistance bands 3 days a week and then also incorporate yoga. I'm 5 years post-op, gained 70 of the 100 pounds I lost, able to still eat foods I did pre-op. How do I get back on track? I would really work on tracking your caloric intake and then starting a gradual deficit of what you're averaging eating by about 200 calories and see what happens. Message me if you need more help with that. Brenda, I'm just going to keep rapid firing until I see things.
Yeah, do a couple more though, Rob, and then I want to kind of switch into show them and have you talk just a little bit too about your summer bariatric program,
Oh,
because I feel like that's a good segue. So maybe two more, and then we're gonna kind of go. And I'm gonna while you're doing that, I'm gonna post your information, and then we're gonna talk about
yeah.
it.
Can I pull the site up on the share my screen as well? Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
all right, I'll do two more questions. Let's see if I can find a unique one.
And if people are listening to the replay, if later, like a replay, this will be in our description of the event if you're listening from our YouTube or our podcast. So,
Love it. I found two gold ones, so I'm really excited. What's the best, most effective exercises for weight loss stalls? Should you change up your routine in a stall? So let's get really clear of where a weight loss stall comes from, and that's actually going to be the nutritional aspect of your bariatric journey. So again, my best advice is just start tracking for about 2 weeks and have an open, honest conversation with your tracker, including bites, licks, and tastes, and see if you can identify it there. And then let's see, we have a couple other ones. How should physical activity be modified for older women, taking into account hormonal changes? Such a great question. So, with women, especially perimenopausal or menopausal, things that go on, I still recommend lifting weights, but on a different specific program that focuses on that. Resistance training is still going to help build muscle, but giving your body active time for recovery plays a really big part. I've had some really amazing success with women in their 50s and 60s in helping them build muscle, lean down, and build the physiques they want. So please, 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 age is but a number. Yes, I know menopausal has some specific caveats to it, but there are ways to build programs that build with that. All right, so I'll share my screen and share about summer camp. Brenda?
yes,
Yes. All right.
yes, yes, yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you hear or are interested in learning more, this is the link to my summer camp page. I highlighted a bunch of my rockstar clients. These are ordinary bariatric patients just like you and me, husbands, fathers, parents, who really just wanted to make a change and get development from. As a teacher, I have the summers off, which allows me to work with more clients, and I've built a program that will last from June all the way through August and into September to help you optimize your bariatric lifestyle. So if you look at this, what we do is we build a plan that helps optimize your nutrition. We help break down gym intimidation. And we also help you develop the headwork needed to thrive after bariatric surgery. One of the best things about being in the bariatric community is I've met some really awesome people along the way, and they are going to be personally coming in and giving their tips, tricks, and techniques to optimizing their bariatric journey. So, what that means is we have people like Josh Weiner, my financial coach, who has taught me to go from 157,000 dollars in debt down to 37,000. We have Connie Stapleton, who has written the book on mind work after bariatric surgery. We have Megan Schaub for women health and fitness. Emily Williams is my energetic scheduler. You're getting some of the top voices and people in the community sharing the tips, tricks, and techniques that'll optimize your work. And of course, you also get me. But to give you an example, we've really gotten a lot of clients that have gone into a stall or gotten work into about 50 pounds. And to give you an idea, it's all the stuff, tips, tricks, and techniques that helped me go from 365 pounds to 100 to 210. This is stuff that is not groundbreaking. And I think that's the unsexiest part of this whole thing, Brenda, is I'm going to teach you very basic things and how to apply the discipline and consistency to get the results that we seek after bariatric surgery. So I'll give this link in the chat and go through this. We are all out of one-on-one coaching options because when I first put the announcement out, people realized how many great supports there are and how many good things that are there. We still have about 10 remote coaching programs option where you will still have my guidance and accountability while still getting a weekly call from an expert in the field and a weekly call where I will coach you through any issues or struggles you have. It must be good because balloons are going off in my web chat. And we have programs for this summer camp that are as affordable as $150 a month. When you apply, no matter what, you get a free half-hour coaching call with me to help optimize your bariatric journey and tell you how I can help you within 3 months. Woo!
When is the deadline for this?
So we are on rolling admissions. We have our speaker series starts on June 1st with me, and then we'll go through September. So the summer camp sale, this is actually also the only time I have a sale on my coaching. So there is $50 off per month for each program that we're working. And my prices are actually under what most industry standards are because I wanted to make sure that I'm giving the best for the community. So if you want, there's still those 10 spots left, but once they are gone and I am capped at 50, they are gone. So I'd say within the next 2 weeks, if you're really even considering this, just even apply so that you have it, and then you can kind of go from there.
I can tell you by looking at those prices, those are maybe a fourth of what you would
Ridiculous.
pay.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, like
And
a fourth of what, or a half of, I mean, depending on how many days a week you're going, but I mean, that is incredible. Like to have that amount of support and
it really is. This is a passion project for me, Brenda, and we've talked so much about how um, I really just want to help the community. So I really did price this under what most industry standards are for coaching. So if you've ever even considered working with a coach, want just a clear plan of how to optimize your fitness and nutrition, want a group of people who are willing to help and who are busy bariatrics, please just apply. The worst thing that happens is we talk for half an hour and I either find you a program that works for you or you sign up and sway. A lot of my clients last summer saw the value of what I offered. And they stayed year round because they like the fact that this is a place to get your fitness program, a community call, daily support emails from me of how to crush your first 90 days working with a personal trainer, as well as a lot of resources that I do not give out to the full community but are exclusive to my clients. Plus, I was so happy. Oh, I forgot this too, because I'm excited to talk about it. Because so many of the speakers saw the value of this, they waived their speaking fees. What I did with that money, instead of pocketing it back, we are giving out a 3-month scholarship to anyone who joins for the summer, which means we'll have the drawing in September, which means that for the price of 3 months, you are getting a 6-month program if you win the raffle. So pretty good deal if you ask me, Brenda.
that's awesome. That's really awesome, Rob. Okay. Well, I'm looking back, see if there's anything, closing thought. And then I kind of want to give a shout out to our sponsor.
Yeah. Closing thought for me is just, summer's a great time to start moving your body. If you need help with accountability, affordability, or just really realizing how to start, know that the resources are out there and I'm here to help.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. You guys got his information. So hopefully we'll be sending this presentation, be sending it out tomorrow. I love what everybody's saying. So the other thing that I'm gonna share my screen too, Rob. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me make sure I have the right screen pulled up. Okay. So for any of you who want additional support on the supplement end, if you're using supplements along with your workouts, ProCare Health, ProCareNow.com is our website. And all you have to do is go there. There's a whole list of products. We're probably known for, what is ProCare known for if you haven't heard of us? For probably being one of the least expensive out on the market as far as your multivitamins. Have an easy regimen. We're the first company to develop the first one a day multivitamins. And when you look at our products, we have multivitamins, we have calcium supplements, we have the protein supplements, different kinds of protein shakes, and then we have a whole list of new therapeutics, which are kind of just add-ons to what we have there. I also want to just say, under the little tab BariConnected, that is our podcast. If you go there, you can click on that and you can kind of see all of the different events that we have each month. So we're in May right now, and we will have all of the May events. It takes it sometimes a second for it to pop up under the weekly events. Rob's event is actually listed there. If you click onto his event, you'll
Hey, look,
see,
that's it.
yes, he's on there. You'll see that kind of go down here, you'll see the replay. So his event will be on replay until the end of the month. So if you want to come back and listen, a lot of times there's a lot of good nuggets that you might miss. You can definitely do that. We also put all of our events, so any of the events listed before that, got little pop-ups coming up here. Any of the events that we've had this month, there's Connie there, we'll have on replay also as well. So you can click onto any of those. We actually also have running, lifting, and nutrition for the bariatric athlete coming up next week. And that'll be a great one to watch with Nick and Becky. Nick is a dietitian. Becky is a physical therapist. So that's another great one, kind of add on to this conversation. I also want to kind of go down. Our podcast is called BariConnected. So if you listen to Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen, you can click on any of these links and go to our BariConnected podcast or our YouTube channel. You can click onto that. YouTube, we have, I think it's like maybe 270 some videos now listed. Rob, all of our videos are always listed the week after the event. So usually it's the Tuesday following. So we got lots of great different things on there to be found. And our YouTube channel is a great way if you subscribe. Up at the top there will be a little subscribe button. Push the subscribe button and you will get notifications of it when any kind of new program is listed. I'll copy that and I'll paste that in the chat. And I also want to say we just added a Facebook page and a Facebook group. You can join those and get kind of like connect with people that are on these calls in a different way for long-term kind of adjustment, like to be able to still chat with other people. And oh, thank you guys. We got some love coming back. Looks like somebody using the one-a-day multivitamin UpCal. Those are great products. Probably the multivitamin is probably our number one product out of everything. And I'm gonna paste the YouTube thing here in just a second. What else? Oh, I wanted to jump on too and show Rob's Instagram page because besides the other links that he shared, I think this is cool because Rob, you were showing some of your before and after. If you go to Rob's Instagram, which is my weight is history, you're going to
Yep.
see some of the things Rob's talking about. Because sometimes it's hard to see that. Like if you're not actually like right now you're sitting down, so they can't really see all the work that
Yes.
you've done behind the scenes. So it's a great way to connect with Rob on a different level.
Yeah, it's one of my most recent posts that I'm proudest of is Brenda, if you'll scroll up just a little bit,
Yeah.
putting Brenda to work in the last hours of this. Keep going up, 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 up. Let's see. There it is. That picture right there. Second
This
row
one?
down one more. To the right now. Right. There we go. So that is me with my youngest daughter Stella on one of our last vacations prior to bariatric surgery. And then this is me with her 6 years later. Last weekend we were in DC. And just if you're listening to this, your life can change so much from this surgery. The reason I do it is so that I can show up for my kids. In the picture on the left, I struggled to get in and out of a lake. I was exhausted the entire time and frustrated even doing things with my child. In the picture on the right, we went to two museums. I walked the National Mall with her. We ran around. We did cartwheels on the mall. And we got about 17,000 steps. Um, those are the days that make the world a difference from this surgery. And Brenda, thank you so much for holding a space for resources to help people get on their way, for ProCare for helping make this happen, and just for having me on and putting up with the fact that I don't stop talking even well after the time we said we'd go to.
That's what I love about you.
It's the best thing
I
to get.
do. Yes, I certainly do. And we have, it looks like, oh, just some more love coming in. So we thank everybody for joining us. Thank you for being here. Rob, you know, you're always welcome to come back. We'll have you back at some point.
You better watch. I'll
And
just keep inviting myself, and we'll make it a regular.
invite yourself as much as you want. And then we'll get that. I'll have you send me your presentation and I'll
Yeah.
get that sent out tomorrow.
Awesome. I'll send it over right now. And
Along
thanks,
with
everyone.
I'll send your promotional stuff out too again.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Everybody have a blessed evening, a great weekend, great day, and enjoy your life. Enjoy today. Enjoy now. Don't wait till tomorrow.
Get on it and enjoy it.
Exactly. Bye, everybody.